The desperate signal. The deep space monitoring station orbiting Jupiter had been quiet for 3 months. Captain Maria Santos sipped her morning coffee while reviewing the daily reports from the outer rim sensors. At 35, she had spent half her life in space, but the routine still fascinated her. Every day brought the possibility of discovery, of finding something that could change humanity forever. The alarm shattered the peaceful morning like glass. Red lights flashed across the control center as Maria rushed to her station. The main screen displayed incoming data from the Kepler system, 47 light-years from Earth. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the communications officer, looked up from her console with wide eyes. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from outside our solar system," Sarah said, her voice trembling with excitement. "It's not from any of our deep space probes." Maria felt her heart race. After centuries of listening to the stars, humanity was finally hearing something back. "Put it through the main speakers," she ordered. The sound that filled the control center was unlike anything they had ever heard. It started as a series of mathematical patterns, then shifted to something that sounded almost like music. But beneath, the melody was something else: desperation, fear, and an urgent need for help. "Are you recording this?" Maria asked. "Every second of it, Captain," Sarah replied. "The transmission is lasting exactly 7 minutes and 32 seconds. Contact Earth Command immediately. Get me Dr. David Shun from the Linguistic Research Division. We need our best minds on this." Dr. Chun arrived at the station within hours aboard the fastest transport ship available. He was a brilliant man with kind eyes and graying hair who had spent his career studying human languages. Now he faced something completely different, the first message from another intelligent species in the galaxy. "Play it again," Dr. Chon said, settling into the analysis station. The alien transmission filled the room once more. He closed his eyes and listened carefully. After the third replay, he opened his eyes and looked at Maria. "This is definitely from an intelligent species," he said. "They're using mathematical concepts as a foundation, then building into more complex patterns. It's like they're trying to establish common ground with whoever receives this message." "Can you translate it?" Maria asked. Dr. Chun smiled, but his expression was serious. "Give me some time. I think I can figure out the basic structure. But Captain, this is incredible. We're really not alone in the universe." For the next week, Dr. Chun worked without rest. He played the message hundreds of times, breaking it down into smaller parts. Sarah helped him by running the sounds through computer analysis programs. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. "They're using prime numbers as a base," Dr. Chun explained. To Maria on the 7th day, "Look at this section here. They're showing us mathematical relationships, then moving to basic physics concepts. It's like they're proving they understand the same natural laws we do. What about the rest of it?" Maria asked. Dr. Chun's expression grew worried. "That's where it gets concerning. They're telling us about themselves. They call themselves the Vellani. They're from a world in the Kepler system, and they're in terrible danger." "What kind of danger?" "They're being destroyed by something called the Dominion. It appears to be a vast empire that conquers worlds and enslaves entire species. The Vellani are the last survivors of their civilization, and they're asking for help." Maria felt a chill run down her spine. Help from who? From anyone who receives this message. They're broadcasting it in all directions, hoping someone somewhere will come to their aid. They say they have information about the Dominion that could help other species defend themselves. Within hours, the news reached Earth. President Elena Rodriguez called an emergency meeting of the Global Council. The debate lasted for days. Some leaders wanted to ignore the message completely. Others wanted to send a massive military fleet. But in the end, they chose a humanitarian approach. "We can't ignore a cry for help," President Rodriguez announced. If there's a chance we can save lives and learn about this threat, we have to. Try. Captain Maria Santos was selected to lead the rescue mission. Her ship, the Prometheus, was equipped with the best technology humanity had to offer. The crew included Dr. Chun, Lieutenant Kim, and 50 of Earth's finest scientists, engineers, and specialists. Remember, President Rodriguez told Maria before, departure, you're not just representing Earth. You're representing the values that make us human: compassion, courage, and the willingness to help others. The journey to the Kepler system took 6 weeks using humanity's fastest engines. When they arrived, what they found was heartbreaking. The Velani homeworld was a burned shell of its former self. Cities lay in ruins, oceans had turned black, and the atmosphere was barely breathable. A single ship approached the Prometheus, the last vessel of the Velani civilization. Maria and her team were invited aboard to meet the survivors. What they found changed everything they thought they knew about the universe. The Velani were tall, graceful beings with silver skin and large, intelligent eyes. Their leader, Elder Zara, spoke through a translation device her people had quickly developed. "We thank you for coming," Elder Zara said, her voice filled with gratitude and sorrow. "We had hoped someone would hear our call, but we feared we were alone." "You're not alone anymore," Maria replied. "Tell us what happened here." Elder Zara led them through the ship, showing them the remnants of Velani civilization. The walls were covered with beautiful artwork and scientific diagrams. These beings had been peaceful, advanced, and cultured. "The Dominion came 3 years ago," Elder Zara explained. "They demanded our surrender and offered to make us part of their empire. When we refused, they began the destruction." "How many worlds have they conquered?" Dr. Chun asked. "Thousands. The Dominion is ancient and vast. They have fleets that span entire star systems. They believe that all species exist to serve them, and they destroy anyone who resists." Lieutenant Kim studied the tactical displays showing the Dominion's power. "How did you survive?" "We didn't fight them directly. We hid, we ran. We used our knowledge of our own world against them. But in the end, we could only save a few hundred of our people. Our entire civilization, billions of Velani, are gone." Maria felt anger rising in her chest. What makes them think they have the right to destroy entire worlds? "Power," Elder Zara replied simply. "They have conquered for so long that they believe it's their natural right. They see other species as resources, to be used or obstacles to be removed." "But you said you had information that could help other species defend themselves," Maria said. Elder Zara's expression grew more hopeful. "Yes, during our years of fighting them, we learned about their weaknesses. The Dominion is powerful, but they're also arrogant. They believe no species can match their technology or their tactics. Are they right?" Maria asked, asterisk. "Perhaps, but we never had the chance to find out. We were peaceful explorers, not warriors. We had no weapons, no military experience. But you humans, you're different." Dr. Chun looked puzzled. "How do you know anything about us?" "We've been studying your transmissions since we sent our message. Your history, your culture, your wars, and your peace. Humans have something the Dominion has never faced: unpredictability. You fight when others would surrender. You find solutions when others see only problems." Maria felt a surge of pride, but also fear. "What are you asking us to do?" "Help us warn other species. The Dominion will eventually reach Earth. They always do. But if we work together, if we share what we know, maybe we can find a way to stop them." "How long do we have?" Maria asked. Elder Zara consulted her instruments. "Their main fleet is moving toward the Centauri system. After they finish there, they'll begin expanding toward your sector of the galaxy. Perhaps 50 years, perhaps. Less. That's not much time to prepare. No, but it's more than most species get. The Dominion usually arrives without warning. This time, they won't have surprise on their side. Maria looked around at her crew. She could see the determination in their eyes. They had come to rescue. Survivors, but now they understood they were also gathering intelligence about humanity's future enemy. "What do you need from us?" Maria asked. "Safe passage to a world where we can rebuild, and a promise that humanity will remember what happened. Here, the Dominion believes they're unstoppable, but they've never faced a species like yours. What makes you so sure about us?" Elder Zara smiled sadly. "Because you came. When you received our message, you didn't ignore it or try to hide. You came across 47 light years to help strangers. That's not just courage. That's something the Dominion has never understood." As the Prometheus prepared to leave the Kepler system with the Vellani survivors, Maria stared out at the ruined world below. She thought about Earth, about the billions of humans who had no idea what was coming their way. The Dominion might be powerful, but they were about to learn something important about humanity. Humans didn't just fight for themselves. They fought for others. And when they fought for something they believed in, they never gave up. The journey back to Earth would take 6 weeks, but Maria knew that when they arrived, everything would change. Humanity would have to prepare for the greatest challenge in their history. But for the first time since hearing the Vellani message, she felt hope. The Dominion was about to discover what happened when they threatened not just humanity, but everything humanity cared about. They were about to learn that sometimes the smallest species in the galaxy could be the most dangerous. Asterisk. The underestimated species 50 years had passed since Captain Maria Santos returned from the Kepler system with the Vellani survivors. Earth had changed dramatically during those decades. The once peaceful planet had become a fortress world, preparing for the inevitable arrival of the Dominion. Commander Alex Rivera stood on the bridge of the Defiance, humanity's newest and most advanced warship. At 42, he had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. The Vellani had shared everything they knew about Dominion tactics, technology, and weaknesses. Now it was time to put that knowledge to the test. "Commander," called out navigation. Officer Lisa Park were detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of the system. "They're coming." Alex felt his heart race, but his voice remained steady. "How many ships?" "At least 500, sir. They're enormous. Each one is 10 times the size of our largest vessels." Alex activated the fleet-wide communication system. "This is Commander Rivera to all ships. The Dominion has arrived. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Today, we show them what humanity can do." Across the solar system, 1,000 human ships took their positions. They were smaller than the Dominion vessels, but they had advantages the enemy didn't expect. 50 years of preparation had given humanity something precious: time to think, to plan, and to innovate. The Dominion fleet approached Earth in perfect formation. Their ships gleamed like dark metal against the stars, bristling with weapons that could destroy planets. At the center of the formation flew the command ship of Supreme Admiral Keth, the being who had conquered more worlds than any other Dominion. "Leader, scan the primitive world," Keth commanded his breach crew. His species, the Vax, were tall reptilian beings with scales that shifted color with their emotions. Right now, Keth's scales showed confident blue. "The humans have approximately 1,000 ships," reported his tactical officer. "They're using outdated chemical propulsion and primitive energy weapons. This should be over quickly." Keth's scales flickered with amusement. "Send the standard surrender demand. Tell them they have 1 hour to submit or face destruction." On Earth, President Sarah Chun, Dr. David Chun's daughter, received the Dominion message in the Global Defense Center. The alien words were translated by computers built with Velani technology. "People of Earth," the message began, "you will surrender immediately and accept integration into the Dominion Empire. Your weapons will be destroyed, your leaders will be replaced, and your population will be relocated to serve the empires. Needs. You have 1 hour to comply." President Shun looked around the room at humanity's military leaders. "Send our response." Alex Rivera delivered humanity's reply personally. "This is Commander Rivera of the Earth Defense Force. We have one. Message for the Dominion. No, we will not surrender. We will not submit. And we will not allow you to harm our world or our people." Supreme Admiral Keth laughed when he heard the response. Typical primitive behavior. They think courage can overcome superior firepower. Begin the attack. The Dominion fleet opened fire with devastating energy beams that could vaporize asteroids. But when the beams reached the human ships, something unexpected happened. The energy was absorbed by special hull coatings developed from Galani science and human innovation. "What?" Keth demanded. "How are they absorbing our weapons?" "Unknown, sir," replied his tactical officer. "Their technology appears more advanced than our scans indicated." Alex smiled as he watched the Dominion weapons fail. Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2. The human ships suddenly scattered in all directions, moving faster than the Dominion had expected. Instead of fighting in formation, like civilized species, the humans attacked from every angle at once. They used asteroids for cover, hid behind planets, and struck from the shadows. "They're not fighting properly," Keth's tactical officer complained. "They're supposed to engage us in orderly battle." "They're barbarians," Keth replied, his scales shifting to annoyed yellow. "No matter, we still outnumber them 5-1. But the humans had learned from the Velani that the Dominion's greatest strength was also their weakness. They were so used to overwhelming primitive species that they had forgotten how to adapt unexpected tactics. Engineer Maya Patel worked frantically in the Defiance's engine room. "Commander, I'm ready to implement the Velani modification." "Do it," Alex ordered. Across the human fleet, ships began to change. Their hulls shifted and reconfigured, weapons emerged from hidden compartments, and energy signatures spiked beyond anything the Dominion had ever seen. The Velani had taught humanity that technology wasn't about raw power, it was about using what you had in ways your enemy never expected. "Impossible," Keth whispered as he watched human ships transform before his eyes. "They're using shape-shifting technology. That's beyond most species we've conquered." "Sir?" His communications officer called out. "We're receiving transmissions from other ships in the fleet. They're reporting similar technological surprises from the humans." Alex activated a special communication channel that connected him to resistance groups across the galaxy. During the 50 years of preparation, humanity had secretly contacted dozens of species oppressed by the Dominion. Now those species were watching the battle, hoping to see if Earth could accomplish what no world had ever done before. "This is Commander Rivera to all resistance groups," Alex broadcast. "Humanity stands with you. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every world the Dominion has conquered." The response was immediate. Across the galaxy, oppressed species began to take action. They sabotaged Dominion facilities, attacked occupation forces, and disrupted supply lines. The Empire suddenly found itself fighting on thousands of fronts simultaneously. Supreme Admiral, Keth's communications officer reported, "We're receiving reports of uprisings throughout the Empire. It appears the humans have been organizing a coordinated rebellion." Keth's scales turned angry red. How could primitives organize such a vast conspiracy? The answer came from an unexpected source. Elder Zara, now 90 years old but still sharp, appeared on the Dominion's communication screens. She spoke from the bridge of a human ship, wearing the uniform of an honorary Earth Defense Force officer. Asterisk. Because, Admiral Keth, you never understood what you were fighting, she said. Humans don't just fight for themselves. They fight for the idea that all species deserve freedom. And when you fight for an idea, you never truly lose. The battle raged for hours. The Dominion's superior numbers began to count for less as human tactics proved increasingly effective. Alex's ships worked in perfect coordination, each one covering the others, sacrificing themselves to protect civilian evacuation routes. Dr. Emma Walsh, the fleet's chief medical officer, coordinated rescue operations while monitoring the battle. From the medical ship Hippocrates, Commander, we're losing ships, but we're saving lives. The evacuation corridors are holding. That's what matters, Alex replied. Keep those civilians safe. Supreme Admiral Keth watched his forces struggle against an enemy that refused to fight by the rules. Deploy the planet killer weapon. If we can't conquer them, we'll destroy them. A massive weapon emerged from the Dominion flagship, charging with enough energy to crack a world in half. But humanity had prepared for this too. Captain Torres, an elderly woman who had served with Maria Santos decades earlier, piloted a special ship directly into the weapon's path. This is Captain Torres, she broadcast to the fleet. It's been an honor serving with you all. Tell my family I died fighting for something worth dying for. Her ship, packed with experimental explosives, detonated inside the planet killer weapon. The explosion was so massive, it destroyed 3 Dominion ships and damaged a dozen others. The weapon that had destroyed countless worlds was nothing but space debris. No, Keth whispered. They sacrificed themselves for strangers. Why would they do that? The answer came from humanity's actions. As the battle continued, human ships repeatedly put themselves in harm's way to protect not just Earth, but the Velani, survivors, the resistance fighters, and even captured Dominion soldiers who had surrendered. Admiral Rivera coordinated the final phase of the battle. All ships execute Protocol Unity. The remaining human ships formed a protective sphere around Earth, while broadcasting a message to every species in the galaxy. It wasn't a call for surrender or a demand for submission. It was an invitation to join a new kind of alliance, one based on cooperation rather than conquest. This is Earth calling all free species, the message began. We offer you partnership, not dominion. We offer you friendship, not slavery. Together, we can build a galaxy where every species is free to choose its own destiny. The response was overwhelming. From across the galaxy, species that had been conquered by the Dominion began to declare their independence. They had seen that the Empire could be defeated, and they wanted to be part of something better. Supreme Admiral Keth watched his empire crumble around him. Retreat, he ordered. Full retreat. But as the Dominion ships fled, they left behind something they had never lost before, their reputation for invincibility. The galaxy had seen that the mighty Empire could be defeated by a species that fought not for conquest, but for freedom. Alex Rivera stood on the bridge of the Defiance, looking out at the stars. The battle was over, but the real work was just beginning. Humanity had proven that the Dominion could be defeated, but now they had to help build something better. Commander, Lisa Park called out, we're receiving messages from over 200 species. They want to join our alliance. Alex smiled. Send them all the same message. Tell them that in our alliance, every species is equal, every voice matters, and every world is free to choose its own path. Elder Zara approached Alex on the bridge. Despite her age, her eyes sparkled with hope. You did it, she said. You actually did it. The Dominion is finished. No, Alex replied. We did it. Humans, Velani, and every species that refused to. give up hope. And now we're going to build something the galaxy has never seen before. A true partnership of free worlds. The news of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light. The Dominion Empire, which had ruled through fear for millennia, began to collapse as species after species declared their independence. Some Dominion worlds even joined. The new alliance, eager to be part of something, based on cooperation rather than conquest. Years later, historians would mark this battle as the beginning of a new galactic age. The age when a small, determined species from a blue world showed the galaxy that freedom was worth fighting for, and that even the mightiest empire could fall when faced with beings who refused to surrender their ideals. The Dominion had made a fatal mistake. They had contacted Earth, expecting to find another world to conquer. Instead, they had awakened something they could never understand, the human spirit, and the power of hope itself. Humanity had reached for the stars, and found not just new worlds, but new friends. And together, they would build a galaxy where no species would ever again have to send a desperate signal into the darkness, hoping someone would come to save them. The age of the Dominion was over. The age of freedom had begun. Asterisk.